What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Catchpollia sitting on the couch making some money investing in fractional real estate online. Today is it's Friday, so I'm doing this week's installment of the 52-week challenge. If you haven't watched other videos of this series, I'm just every single week trying to buy at least one piece of property or mortgage. For me, this has been a pretty simple challenge because I've picked up multiple pieces every single week. But the goal is to for us to chat in the comments here, jump in the Discord, talk about it there, just talk about what we're buying, share, and just to stay motivated to continue to pick up pieces of deals. Ones that we feel that you feel are right for you, right? Just because I'm buying a certain property doesn't mean that you should. You want to do your own due diligence on the platforms and on the properties themselves. I do have links in the description to this video to all the places I'm currently investing in fractional real estate online. You want to check those out, but again, do your own due diligence on the platforms. Just because I decided to invest in some doesn't mean that you should. There's at least one in there that I'm not super happy with, and I'll let you figure out which one that is by poking around or watching some other videos. But anyway, this week I picked up pieces of 15 mortgages on ground floor. I picked up tokens in three different properties on Lofty, and I bought a piece of a deal on Saul's Lot. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on each one. Before I forget, please like and subscribe. So let's see. On ground floor, it's pretty simple. I just had a payoff, and so I bought just a little piece of and I just spread it out. And this has been my strategy on here, just buying a little piece of every single one that pops up. I actually bought a bigger piece of this one. I'm not sure how I managed to do that, but I'm normally trying to just the money that comes in, just spread it across whatever ones are available at that time evenly. I really have no idea how that happened. That's kind of weird. And then these two are newer ones, so I don't have quite as much in. But that's been my strategy on here. I'm not particularly picky. I'm just looking for really wide diversification. You can see I'm in 125 different mortgages. I don't know if that number even went up. I might have had more payoff than I had new ones to put money into. So even though I picked up pieces of 15, most of these are ones that I already owned little pieces of already. And so that's why it doesn't show up as having more. Total of 47 paid off so far. You can see none have, I've been lucky. I haven't had any defaulted. All the ones that were extended are now in my payoff column. So it's going pretty well. I think that and my actual rate of return has been over, close to 11.5% on these. So it's especially when you add in the sign-on bonus. This has been a nice return for what at least to me seems to be really good risk-adjusted return because it is mortgages. We're not buying equity in properties. So that's all I did on ground floor. On Lofty, I think two of these are ones that you'll have never seen me buy any of before. This is, two properties on the same street in Chicago, both within the same Dow. These were previously managed by Yom. Earl Co. just took this over. Um, he seems to be making progress with the turnover of a lot of those properties, especially the Chicago ones seem to go a little bit smoother than a lot of the other ones. And so, when there was a little dip in these ones, I picked up just a few. You can see I hardly picked up any, just 5 tokens. Just that much moved the price when I did it. So, if I continue to buy more of this, it'll always be just nibbling here and there whenever there dips. Um, this is one that has had squatters. It's had a recent eviction, all sorts of problems. So definitely dig into it before before you just buy any of this one, just like we do on all of them. Um, but I don't know. When I looked at it, it seems like there's some value there. I already own a couple other of the Chicago properties that Earl is taking over. It's a big bet on him. I think that he's a little bet here, but like overall, I'm making a bet on him as far as I think he'll do a good job of running them. Some of those properties were already good, and so I thought that you know, I don't know, just it seemed like good value at the price that it was. Even though, and this is one of the things, it had gotten even lower. It was all the way in the single digits not too long ago, and I didn't pick it up. I think a lot of the uncertainty has been taken out of it at this point, right? Like, I was really worried about how the turnover would go, even though that's not done. It seems like they're making a lot of headway. I was worried about the eviction. It sounds like they actually are moving forward. It sounds like they got the judgment on one of the units, and they're moving forward to push someone out, or actually carry out the where the sheriff goes and moves them out. So I don't know. I think that it's been de-risked to a certain extent. I think there's still a ton of risk in it. But it's really bothering me that I can't think of the word that when they actually complete the eviction. But anyway, it'll come to me probably when I'm trying to fall asleep. But so the next one I bought a piece of was this three property package in Ohio. This is another one that it's just, very, very similar story. Is it Earl that's taken over this one or Whalek? Let's see. I think it's Earl on this one too. Yeah, Earl's taking over this package as well. This is one that he's actually been. I've seen him chat about quite a bit in the Discord. I think that again, it's more just a value play than anything else. It is, it's had a ton of problems over its whole history, but I think that at the price that I picked up tokens at, I think it's going to still be hard to get hurt. And again, I mean, same story with the turnover from Yom, right? This was a Yom one, I think. Yeah. But I think that it should be, again, I, they're at least making progress. And so I think if we wait until it's completely done and all is cleared up, that a lot of these properties will pop in price um, more than I want it to. So, this is sort of making anytime you're investing, right? You're risking some loss and hoping to get some upside. And so I think that the more uncertainty there is, the more potential for profit, but also the more potential for loss. And so I don't know. This was just another one that I think that there's some value here, but who really knows? It'll be interesting to see. This is just the really deep discount relative to what I think the real world value of the properties. I mean, this one was a little harder to do because it's three different properties. It is you have that management issue. So it's really unclear the status of each of them. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But again, I'm also not making huge acquisitions of any of these. And so it's a little bit of a diversification as well, right? I don't know. I think that with the discounted token strategies that I've been using, for the most part, all I really care about is could we sell this and make a profit today, if we sold it in the real world, right? And I think for the ones that I'm buying, when I pick it up on a dip in the token price, that it's a pretty safe to assume that I'll be able to do that. How long it takes us to get to that sale, who knows? But then I think there's the potential on these ones that Earl's taking over that he'll actually just run them well, and the token price will come back, and I'll just sell the tokens or maybe hold them long term. I mean, I think the yields will be really strong on these relative to the prices that I bought them for if we do get them up and running. I bought some more tokens in 7014 Raymond Ave. This is one I think you've probably seen me talk about almost every single week. Whenever there are dips in it, I'm buying it. There's nothing particularly special about the home. I just think it's one that has been priced poorly for whatever reason. I think that there's, value in the price of the token relative to the real world value. It is, we did change managers. This is one that I had, instituted a vote to change it to a different property manager in that market. I think they're doing a decent job. But Waylick or Alec, I always call him Waylick because that's his screen name, right? But he is proposing a vote to take it over for the same management fee. I think he'll probably be a little bit more active of a manager, and definitely more active in, as far as the communication between us and him will be much quicker because we're not trying to go through Lofty to manage it. So I don't know. I'm optimistic that it might be one that we can just get up to yielding something for us relatively quickly. And then, I'll sell off some of the tokens. And if not, again, I mean, I think it's a really good discount to the real world price. And so if we have to sell it, that'll be perfectly fine. I think I already said please like and subscribe, but if I didn't, please do that. And if I didn't mention, we have a link to our Discord in the video description. Please feel free to join that. We have a section for the 52-week challenge, so you can come in, share what you've bought. If you don't want to say exactly in detail which properties, you can just say which platforms you're buying on or what your strategies are. It's just a place for us to get together, sort of like an accountability group. Yes, I'm buying each week like my plan is. I'm sticking to the plan. And it's one of the things I think a lot of people that have found this space are, a lot of us are the type of people that like to go from one thing to the next. That's not really me, although it is in certain parts of life. I've been all in on real estate for 20 years. So, but I can relate to it because I've done a lot of different jobs in real estate. But so I think some people will come here, get excited, blow money, put money onto properties that they haven't done proper due diligence on too quickly, and then not come back to a platform for a year. And I think it's the wrong way to go about it. Like in my mind, there's a lot to learn about how the platforms work and how uh, you know different markets are, and so slowly buying up positions in different platforms and different markets and different properties. Um, I think is a more prudent strategy. And for me, at least so far, it's been really profitable. Like all the exits I've had, I've been very happy with. Speaking of a nice profit, look at that segue. Man, I'm becoming a professional YouTuber. If you haven't noticed, like this, that was just super smooth, right? So this is Solomon's Lot. I've done a couple videos on this platform. They don't have a whole lot of properties yet. This is the third one that I bought a piece of, right? So I had little pieces of these ones. You get this NFT as your like, um, to show your ownership in these. But this one I bought just a couple days ago, $25. But the property is already sold in the real world now, and this is redeemable. I could redeem it today. I just haven't gone through the process and figured it out. I think I'll probably do it tomorrow. Um, and I'm gonna get like 28 bucks for it. And that's after fees and everything. So it's pretty interesting. I'll do a video where I calculate like the actual return. Obviously, 25 bucks to 28 bucks, $3 profit, not exciting at all. I'm really just experimenting with this platform at the moment. I wanted to see, that's what all of the, I think that's the smallest one I bought actually. I think this one was, um, hmm, original value basis exchange rate. I have to look and see exactly. I think, you can multiply your, I'm not sure exactly how I figure out what the value of that one is. This one, I think. Yeah, and again, I'll have to go back and look and see what I paid for each of those, but I think they were like 150 bucks or 200 bucks or something. Um, but neither of those are redeemable yet. Once they are, this is really a very fledgling, platform, right? It's very new. He's just getting some properties on there. He's really reworking it quite a bit. I'm excited of where it's going, and so I want to like be up to speed on it. So far, it's also been one where I've had to understand the most crypto to be able to buy. Although buying this one was pretty easy. I could just check out with a credit card. Just had to have that wallet attached to it, so that this could go where it is. But I think I think it deserves sort of a longer video about the actual process of buying and redeeming on here. So I'm going to do that. But I just want to wrap this up. Like this is the last thing that I bought, but I just thought it was cool that it's already that I bought this week. But I thought it's cool it's already redeemable and for a profit. I wish I had backed up the truck and bought a whole bunch more because there was a bunch available. This site is much different from Lofty, where it's not like if I'm buying it, it changes the price. So I could have bought 10 times as much, or I don't know. I don't know how much. I think there was only when I was looking. I think there was like $5,000 available of it. Sorry about that. I just pause to confirm that. They just had $5,000 of this available. They had 200 sold at 25 bucks a piece, so 5,000 bucks. Also noticed this is, you can see where I what I spent on the other two. Just 150 and 350 were the prices on those ones. The other ones that I bought pieces of, those were, quite a while back. I'm sure I included them in videos when I did. I do plan to do a longer video about, the site and how it works. Again, he's definitely still tweaking things, and so I'm waiting till I think it's at a point where, all these sites are in constant flux, but that kind of goes in waves, right? Like they'll change a lot and then they'll see how it goes, and so I don't want to do two. I don't want to do one and then have it be, completely different next week. Um, but yeah, so that is everything that I bought this week. 15 pieces of 15 mortgages, three different DAOs on Lofty. And I said three properties, but like it's really one, two, five, six properties because two of them were packages of properties, right? And then just one little piece here. So pretty good week. I didn't get anything on Mogul. If you watch that, the videos on the Mogul playlist, yeah, I passed on this one. It is possible, if it stays up for a while and I get some, different answers than what I think, as far as like if they're going to buy the other ones in that neighborhood and whatnot. That might change my mind, but at the moment I decided not to. Didn't get anything on collab. Probably just won't for a while. It is now performing the one that I have. I'm just not that excited about any of the other ones that they show. Um, that's really it, right? That's the only ones I'm buying on. I still check Arc 7 every week, or almost every week, and I still just haven't seen anything very exciting on there. And then, arrived the same thing, right? I think that they're going to have they're supposed to have their secondary market sale though pretty soon, I think. So if anybody's heard about that, please let me know. I think that's really it. So please do share what you're doing, as far as like if you're buying what you bought this week. And I end up getting more DMs than anything else. That's perfectly fine. I think some people just want to be like, keep it to themselves, but definitely encourage you to put it in the Discord and also and or in the comments to the videos. I think that it helps to have like a group of us talking about it versus just me, one way with a lot of different people. But at the same time, really excited to just talk to anybody about this stuff. So if you want to keep DMing me, that's perfectly fine as well. Some of you have found me on Twitter. That is perfectly cool. I'm there all the time. The people messaging me on Facebook, I know there's been a few of you. I don't check that hardly ever. So sorry if you've done that. And it's taken me forever to get back to you. I don't even know how people found my Facebook because I don't think that I linked to that anywhere. But I use the same name everywhere, right? Just my name. Anyway, that's really it. Sorry about the little bit of rambling here at the end. I think you're probably used to it by now from me. Hopefully, I'll clean that up a little bit as I am continue to practice YouTubing. Oh, if you're watching this before 11:30 a.m. Central Time on Friday, the 9th, please check out the live stream that's about to come up at 11:30 Central Time, Friday the 9th. Okay, now I'm really done. Till next time, gonna keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.